This is Lasting Conversations. We have the lovely Thia Muilenburg with us today. Hi, Thia.
Hi.
Well, Thia is a brilliant songstress. She is lead singer and band leader of Soulshine, which is here in South Florida. She is a extremely competent and beautiful music expressive arts therapist. And she has her own songs out to play for us. And we're about to jump in and have a really lovely conversation.
Thank
And then one more thing is you have an amazing property in the island of St. John, and that is called Stone Garden Cottage. So you invite guests there to relax and retreat.
Yes.
Tell us about the St. John experience first.
Sure. Tell you about it. Wow. I've been connected with St. John, I guess, in the Virgin Islands since I was 15. When my parents bought a condo on St. Croix, they fell in love with the island because some friends were there. And so that was the first time I ever went to the Virgin Islands, and I completely fell head over heels in love with it. And then I met my husband, and we married, and he's from St. John. And we bought a house there in 2005. And we brought our kids down there to live for 5 years in 2009. So, and we moved back here to Florida, but it's still there. We use it as often as we can. And we have a business on St. John, so we go down for business and to help with the management of the cottage. The cottage is a vacation rental business. So we have people in there every week from all over the country, sometimes other places in the world, who come and stay. And it's been a really great thing to have. We love it. Love having, our foothold in the islands. It's really our home. Our kids were raised there. They feel like that's their home. It's been a wonderful community to be part of.
I've seen photos of it, and it looks just inviting and relaxing, but there's something about island life. What is it about island life than, say, mainland that draws people in, and there's perhaps a cultural shift, maybe even musically, as we're going to segue into the music part. But what is it that draws people that really love to be on an island?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think of it as most of the people that I've known who live on the island, who stay there for their entire lives, are very different than most people.
There really is a difference. I think that's the nature of my question. If we've been in areas that are part of a hubbub and a certain there's a high vibe, but there's like a certain intensity, versus if you're in an area that's a lot more chill and you have to be closer to the land or self-sufficient because it's an island. There is something completely different about it. That's kind of the nature of where I'm going with, actually.
Yeah, no, I think people go there because they want a sense of community that's stronger than what they have on the mainland. A connection to nature, the ability to kind of unplug and not be so inundated with media all the time. A way to raise your kids in a natural environment, in a small community where people take care of each other. And it is very unique. An island culture is very unique. And not everybody can, be there for their whole lives. I certainly couldn't do that. I would, I may go back and live there someday, but I spent 10 years of my life living in the islands, and I'm happy to be on the mainland right now because it suits me more in this time of my life. But I know people have been there their entire adult lives. My in-laws they were there for 45 years, and it was really hard for them to leave, I think. But there was so much joy in having a connection to that community, and that's what kept them there. And also the sea, being associated with the sea and being able to be in the ocean and sail on the ocean and swim on the ocean. Of course, you're surrounded by water, so you gotta love the water. So mostly people who live there do, and they're drawn to it because of that.
That's just beautiful. So in many ways, it's the best. It can be the best of both worlds. And having your daughters begin their early lives there and now come to the mainland to do the things, the colleges and the careers and things that can expand the rest of their lives.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. So let's get to the music. Tell us about your journey from, you've done business. You wear many hats, actually. You
I
are a
do.
business consultant. You're a manager for your daughter's career.
Yes.
You do all kinds of businessy things, and yet music has been your calling. It still is your calling. So you've done it as therapy, and you are as an expressive artist, and then you have your own songs, which we're going to get to hear. So tell us about the musicality and how that just warms your soul.
Oh, wow. That's huge. I guess music it's what holds my life together with my family. We're all very musical. My husband plays and sings. Both my daughters do too. I do. It's just always been a place for me to find my sense of who I am and express my creativity. I've had a good relationship with music my entire life, and I think most people can probably say that. I mean, it's one of those universal things, obviously. We all love music and need music, and what will we do without music? I mean, it helps us to get into a deeper place where we can get in touch with emotions that are difficult and let them come out. Sometimes it's music that makes us cry when we really need to, you know, and then also to express joy, how wonderful it is to, sing a song, let's party or whatever, let's celebrate, and everyone feels it, let's celebrate.
Right.
So it's all the whole spectrum of life, is expressed in music. And so it's a wonderful thing. And that's, why I became a music therapist, because I felt like if I was going to do therapy, which I chose to do, I wanted it to be with creativity and self-expression being the focus. Not just talking, which is very therapeutic too. But for me, I wanted it to be about the creative process. And so that's why I chose to do expressive arts therapy and music therapy, because it is healing and it's a miraculous process to work with the creative being that we are and allow that to heal a person's life, and also to help with development, with grieving, with so many different issues that come up in life, and creativity can really help us through them.
Which is all very, very true. And, we've spoken a little bit before. So you've worked with children, you've worked with people in trauma and the elders, elderly folks. So when you're saying utilizing creativity along with the music, you have some other, I don't want to say tricks, but some other methodologies, whether there's a puppet to help somebody or maybe physical artistry. Tell us more about that creative side, what it is that can really make the difference, that really can pierce through when someone's having a moment or a child is so lost.
Yeah, my specialty when I was doing therapy was to work with children. I did have training in all different age groups. It's so funny because most people think, well, what's music therapy? What do you do? You just sing songs and stuff? No, it's not just that. There's so much more to it. It's really a very, very complex discipline, and the way it's applied. And so it's really using the creative process to approach and meet a clinical need. A clinical need. This is like something someone's been diagnosed with.
Right. So we get into the psychology, the physicality, the emotionality. It's its own holistically balanced treatment, if you will.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it's a science, really. I mean, you don't only do the therapy, but you take notes and you take data and you compare it over a period of time and you report back and you do evaluations and you work on a team and you're working together for the same result to help someone get through something or heal or grow in a way that will help them function as a human being better. And so it was, your question was about the creative process, and that is what's such a miracle to me. Being an expressive arts therapist, we use creativity in all its different modalities. So art, music, movement. It can be, and that can branch out to storytelling, puppetry, journaling. We do a lot of, we use whatever we can, whatever tool we can find to get into someone's creative process, to help them get into their creative process.
Mm-hmm.
So the music therapy is my specialty because I felt that was what I really wanted to focus on the most. But I would use all the other art forms as needed to help a person in their process to open up that creative doorway. And it may not be easy with music. It may be the first step is what they need because they're very cut off, is just maybe making a humming sound, if we're staying with music, or making a movement in their body. Or it could be that maybe just picking up, a brush and putting a color that is interesting to them onto a page and just seeing what happens is the first step to opening that door. And it could be that they're dealing with, let's say, child abuse at home, or they've been witnessing violence between the parents, which is my specialty. Actually, I was trained to work in domestic violence. And then they're acting out at school because there's so much anger around them. They start getting angry at their peers. And then their, principal said, we want him to get therapy. So that's how I would get him,
right.
her. And they may be so defended that the only thing I can really think of is, maybe it's a color and a paintbrush, or
right.
as I said, you just start there, and then as things start to evolve, with the goal of helping this kid be a functioning person in life.
Right.
How do you help them manage their anger? You can't just talk to a kid and say, hey, we're going to work on your anger issues today.
Right.
That's not how it works with children. So you got to get in somewhere, and the creative process is such a natural and very comfortable place. Once, being defended sort of gets softened by something fun to do.
Right.
Then it's interesting how we are as human beings. We're human beings who have like a internal knowing that we may not even be connected to or understand it's there, but there's a healing going on all the time inside of us, and it knows what we need. If we're given the right tools and the support, then it will start leading us in the right direction. So creativity is that doorway. We open to that with the creativity. And then pretty soon they're making choices on their own. Well, I want to go and hit that drum, and that's going to feel good. Or maybe I'll suggest the drum when I feel like they're ready, and then start making some sounds of my own. And can you mimic that? And how does that feel? And then just having them start to make those sounds, and it feels so good to get the feeling out through the instrument that they're cooping up inside. And there's all kinds of ways that could lead. It could go into, okay, you got that out, and how do you feel in your body? Let's make that bigger. Let's stand up and move around and see, can you breathe more deeply? And how about making a sound with that breath now? And wow, that leads to the voice, which is usually very defended. We're not going to talk. We're not going to sing for people. A lot of people just don't feel like they can. Or they should.
And that's been a message that's been over as well. You're not an artist, or you're not a singer, or you're not this or that. So that squelches the very nature of our creativity. But so going into the voice and having that express out.
It's a very, very deep kind of expression that's very natural. There's nothing between your voice and a person's ears,
or the universe
atmosphere around us.
Right.
It's just so easy, so natural. So that can be a real source of healing, because there's so many emotions associated with the voice.
Right.
So getting someone to the point where they feel comfortable actually using their voice, and then singing, or even coming up with words to express what's going on with them, whether it's something that's painful or something that's joyful, whatever that is. And doing it not because you're going to go perform on stage.
Right.
but just doing it for the sake of being a human being who sings and has a voice to express who they are in that moment, whether it's angry, sad, happy, whatever it is, nervous, anxiety, there's so many different emotions, right? So, and it's all a very amazing process. I mean, I'm just trying to give you a little
snippet. Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And, I was just thinking of, that joyful noise, or where I have heard people speak about with speech therapies and other therapies of that sometimes speaking is difficult, but if you put it to song, maybe a stutterer, that releases because you're putting it into a song, and there it is.
Yes.
And
with Alzheimer's patients, they can sing words when they can't even talk in words. I've witnessed that. It's amazing because the organization of the brain makes it so that the musical memory is stored in a place that isn't affected by Alzheimer's. And so when they hear a familiar song, they will start singing those words because that's in there, in that filing cabinet in the brain. And there's memories locked in with those songs because they are associated together. And so they can actually experience those memories and talk a little bit after the song is over because the brain has been kind of recharged. And it's a miracle to hear someone who's can't even say one sentence before they sing, and then after it's over, they've been singing the song and they can say something important like, I love you,
Right.
How important that is to a loved one who's there in the room,
Right.
It's really amazing.
That's beautiful, and I was getting some goosebumps, which is always a great part of the show, because what that means is that it resonates in the truth, right? The truth of our own being, and that's what harmonies and music can really do for us. So now,
I love that,
yeah, which is actually where we met. As a matter of fact, we met when my mom was at an assisted living facility, and your mom, who is still currently there, and we would come down for brunch, and there was this fun family just singing and playing music. Well, and that was the one thing that my mom would actually stay and participate and bear witness to. Because it was fun and it was lovely, and that was that. So without calling it therapy, that was some really, really good therapy, and then it warmed the heart. And so that's where we kind of first started, our paths crossed a bit.
That's right,
yeah.
That's great.
So it's all about music. And so now let's talk some more about music. And so your creative process is, as a songwriter, you're helping your daughter, you're helping other people, but for you and your process, you've written some beautiful songs, and please talk about that, and especially your first single called The Shortest Distance. I had it in my head today because, we all go through seasons and things that are kind of bubbling up to be anxiety-ridden, if you choose to have them cause anxiety. But music and songs like this, I want to hear more of the story and the backstory from Shortest Distance, and we're going to hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Shortest Distance was a song I wrote back in the, when I was probably in my 30s, a long time ago. And I did record it at the time. I was doing songwriting with a group of friends in Northern California. This was before I became a music therapist. And I had the good fortune of being able to record that song at the time. But that was a long time ago. There was no digital then. And so my life evolved, and eventually I decided I wanted to get back into the songwriting after, helping my daughter develop her songwriting career, and then her flying the coop, the nest, I should say. I had some more, focus on my own, what I want to do with the rest of my life, aside from working, and decided to try resurrecting these songs. And I got some really great support from my family to do that, encouragement and all that. And the songs, I went into the studio and recorded 4 songs from back when I had been doing the songwriting in my 30s. And I was lucky enough to have my daughter, Allegra, still home at the time. And she came into the studio and sang the harmonies with me. So it made it extra special. And so I feel like Shortest Distance is one of those songs that I wrote and and it was like an affirmation song after having kind of lived a life not really sure what I wanted to do with my life, where I wanted to live, who I wanted to be with, all those good things that really made a difference. But I had a hard time, just finding my path at the time.
Right.
And so I did eventually kind of come to a realization that I just needed to be where I was and not stop looking somewhere else for happiness. That's the message of the song. The straight line is the shortest distance to happiness, and rather than, trying this, trying that, in different directions. And so that's what the song's about.
That's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And your daughter is Allegra Miles, who is extraordinary. And
Thank
she's
you.
making her way. She's been on The Voice and Idol and is playing at Sunfest and is just extraordinary. And as her own songwriter in her own right.
Yeah.
So
proud of her. Yeah.
It's truly amazing. Thea, would you like to play some or even all of your song?
I'd love to. That would be great.
Let's hear that.
Let's listen to song. This song is actually up on Spotify and Apple Music and wherever you get your music. And I have another song coming out, I can tell you about afterwards, coming out this month on the 12th called Endless Journey. Because the 4 songs that we recorded are all coming out, one a month or so.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's really very exciting for me.
That's truly exciting.
Yeah.
And I've heard your band Soulshine, and the souls shine. Maybe before your song, tell us where you even came. Well, it's kind of a no-duh about Soulshine, where the name of the band would come from. But do you have a little story about that?
Sure. I think I fell in love with the word Soulshine, listening to an Allman Brothers song called Soulshine. And I just loved the idea of that. I love the lyric of the song about how it's better than sunshine, it's better than moonshine, soulshine. It's like, yeah, that's sort of very much fits, my feeling about music and being a therapist. I want my clients to have their souls shine. That's ultimately
that's who we are, isn't it?
That's health.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, isn't it? That's who we are, right? Exactly.
That is the shining. And let's hear your song.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is going to be Shortest Distance.
Been looking for joy and love. So many flames forgotten today. And I'd circle the world to find paradise lost was here all the time. Straight line, shortest distance on a course of least resistance. Straight line, shortest distance, shortest distance. Each footstep is easy now. I don't
it loud, play it on headphones, sing it. It's a singable song, right?
Yeah, thank you.
It's
Thank
a
you.
singable song
Appreciate that.
for
yeah,
everybody.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's kind of a big affirmation.
It's a huge affirmation. And Thea, I'm not even sure what else to say after that. Except, the skies are opening up. The skies are opening up for all of us and stepping into our further creative paths. And are you seeing that this branch now of your life and career is that you're going to take the show on the road? Or are you just putting these out for the universe to enjoy? What else do you see for your 23?
Oh, well, I don't know. I guess. Yes, I need to be here, don't
I just gave her the microphone. Yeah.
Well, I never really intended to try to take it on the road. I mean,
Right.
I'm not really, I don't think I'm in the stage of my life where I'd want to do that.
And that's okay. The simplicity of putting music to the world and doing
Yeah.
what you want rather than the grind necessarily.
Yeah. Well,
right?
I feel like for me, I did it so that, to have some sort of a legacy, and that my friends and my family could enjoy these songs. It was a great project to do with my daughter. And I love singing my songs out when I'm performing. It's been really fun. People are getting to know them and they're, giving me feedback. They love that song, It's great to be able to do that. And I keep writing songs. I'm going to go into the studio on Wednesday and record another one I just wrote. And it's just a wonderful creative project. And I feel like it's something I've always wanted to do. And I'm finally giving myself what I want, that I've wanted to do for my whole life. I've wanted to do this, but there was always something else that I was doing instead of this. I guess, you decide, at some point you decide, are you going to do music as a career? And to be a musician, go on the road a lot. There's a lot of touring involved. I wasn't very good at getting up on stage early in my life. I had a lot of stage fright and anxiety about it. And so to me, and I didn't like being in front of cameras, and it just wasn't my thing. So I sort of decided I was going to become a music therapist and help other people, and still focus on music. And now I'm at the point where I am getting out and I'm performing more. I have a band. I'm enjoying that so much. The musical creativity that goes into that is really very enjoyable. Same thing with going into the studio and being creative with, how are we going to put this song together in the tracks? And it's been a great creative project that I've really enjoyed, and writing songs too. So it's sort of becoming kind of my own therapy, I guess, in a way.
Isn't it all? Yeah. Life is just our own therapy session.
So I think that it's, one of those things I'm giving to myself now that I'm at this stage of my life. And it's been a pure joy to be able to do it. So why not?
And exactly. So why the heck not? Well, Thea, this is what a gift. And that song and the others that you have, and when I have seen you on stage, that you have these other beautiful women with you, and your husband too. I've seen you in different areas in the Brewhouse Gallery in Lake Park, Florida. Please come. The harmonies and that you practice, I know, and then there's the improv when people have come together. You may or may not have even rehearsed, but to watch musicians do their thing, and you have friends that you jam with, and everybody just brings what they have and lays it out there, and it's magical.
That's
and
really
it
fun.
Truly is magical.
Yeah, no, it's a really great thing to be a musician.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm so grateful that I was, given lessons when I was a kid, and my parents really supported that in terms of lessons and got me a guitar when I was young, and all that's so important for parents with kids to get that going early in life. And so because it takes a long time to develop those musical skills. So our kids learned the piano, they started at age 4, and they still love music. It wasn't like a struggle, luckily. I think they both have natural ability, but they were surrounded with music while they were in the womb and after so much that it was just natural. And, not just us playing music, singing and stuff, but also listening to classical music in the car, doing fun games like who are we listening to, or what genre of music is this? Let's change the station and let's hear what that genre is. Tell me what you think it is. Just getting them interested in it in a fun way. And so I feel like the musical journey starts at home very young, and then you see, if a child really takes to that, give them the support and the encouragement. I never said to my daughter, "Oh, the one who's doing it as a career, Allegra."
Allegra, yeah.
We always supported her in the idea of doing it. When she was sick, she said, "I want to be on stage in front of thousands of people singing." It's like, okay.
She had that inner knowing within her own self.
Yeah, and so on
which is very clear.
Saturday, she's going to be in front of thousands of people on stage at age 20.
That's right.
And it's wonderful that she's there already. But she's there already because she had the drive and the motivation and the talent, but she also had the support from us as parents.
Right.
We never said, "Oh, you really have to have a plan B. Oh, you have to go to college." Those things. No, she knew what she wanted. We knew she could achieve it. We're supporting her on that. And, it's not like it's been a struggle for us. We just know we have to support her. And I think that she understands that, and she really is very grateful and understands that not all parents are like that. And I think that, giving up the college was probably the biggest question. Like, do we do that? Do we say you don't have to go to college, But we just knew that, there's no point in going to college when you're already doing your career.
She's doing it.
And
this is Allegra Miles, everybody. Find Allegra Miles, again, on Spotify, and just, she is an artist, and it effuses, it just comes through her in its own exquisiteness and her youth and her poignancy. And probably her old soulness.
Yeah.
So college will always be there.
That's right.
We think we have these paths, but college she's in the College of Music right now, the Allegra College of Music.
Yes, that's right.
Maybe she'll open one, but the Allegra College of Music. And it's a joyful noise, and it's stunning. And it's stunning to see her.
It's working for her.
It's working for her,
Yeah,
which
really
is extraordinary. And she's a professional artist, and you bring that too, because there is a discipline. And I watch that. I marvel at that because there are beautiful musicians, can sing a joyful thing. And then when I have witnessed, when you're performing, oh my gosh, the discipline and structure within the melody, I marvel, I bow at that
Thank
part.
you.
I really do.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, that's all part of it is, perfecting your craft, which you can never do. You can never perfect it. But, you work on it.
Right.
And there's such joy in that.
Yeah.
Getting better at something.
Sure.
And then feeling like you've got a good result.
Right.
That
And then just
people are
letting it
enjoying
go.
that.
Let it go and see where it lands.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Oh
And the
my God.
harmonies are one of the most joyous parts for me.
Right.
I love singing. I love singing harmony. And so, I've been lucky enough to find a good, wonderful friend who is a great singer who's singing with me, Hope Finch.
Yes.
And, that's a big joy, is sharing it with other people.
Yes.
And watching them develop.
Grow and blossom.
And we help each other develop.
That's right.
So it's Hope Finch and Ellen Vargas is with us playing the keyboards.
On Soulshine.
And she had never even played outside of her house. She'd never been on stage before when we became friends.
Ellen on keyboards?
Ellen, yeah.
Because she's masterful herself.
She's amazing.
She is amazing.
Yeah. So so it's been really fun to develop as a group.
Right.
And, that's been a great joy.
Right.
And so there's so many elements to it. I highly recommend music in so many ways, of course. But one of the things that I've noticed, my mother was a musician, and, she plays by ear, the piano. Well, she's 95 now, and she has Alzheimer's. And going back on what we were saying with Alzheimer's, it's her joy. It is what brings her to the table every day, like the ability to sing or hear music. And she'll be kind of sleeping off because she is older. She'll fall asleep a lot, but she'll wake up when she hears a song she likes and start singing it, or we'll get her involved, playing the piano. And this is what she's living for right now. And thank God she learned how to be a musician. You know, gives her joy in her elder years.
Right.
You know, so I'm just so grateful to have that ability that, you know, I'm hoping that will be the same for me and for our kids. And anybody who's a musician will be able to enjoy that, you know, in their later life, which is really important to think about at some point, you know.
It's so
that
true.
You do want to plan for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that say, "Oh, I'm too old to pick up an instrument."
It's never too old, ever,
You're
ever,
not.
ever.
You're
You can
not,
tap
no.
a toe, and that's an instrument. You clap your hand.
And I have personal experience with that. I have always been regretful that I had not focused on piano enough when I was younger. I did take lessons, and I was a classical trained piano player, and but I did put more focus on the guitar, and I'm glad I did. But there was always that yearning, you know, for learning how to play the piano again or getting back into it. And if I could have really done a lot with the piano or whatever. Well, I decided when my kids were little, I wanted to be a good model for them. And so I got into the piano more and took lessons. And I was in my 40s, and I got way better than I had ever been when I was a teenager at the piano. When I was in my 40s, having taken it up after all those years again.
I can see that because within our own bodily wisdom, you know, whether a voice deepens and changes or the musicality, the music in us then can express differently than perhaps when we were book learning and practicing and doing these things from our head. This is from a deeper well, maybe.
Yeah, that's possibly true. And then just probably the discipline that it takes.
Yeah.
As an adult, it's maybe easier to dive in and really do that. But I just encourage people to not feel like, oh, I'm too old. Or, you know, I can't take up an instrument or get better at something. No, that's not true at all. It's actually the opposite.
It's quite the opposite.
You know, if you have a passion for something, explore it.
True.
Use it, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And music, art, anything. And hum. Say something.
Yes, that's right. Even if you don't have an instrument.
Exactly.
You know, use your voice.
Your voice is an instrument.
Yeah, and the more you use it, it gets stronger.
That's exactly true.
Yes, because you can take a lesson. You can have someone help you with your training and how to strengthen your voice. You know, use other people who are experts and develop something really fun and wonderful. Don't shy away from it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's that. I think we're going to end right there. Don't shy away from it. Don't shy away from your own voice, your fun.
Right.
The music in the world, play more music, listen to some music, go to a coffee house, you know, go where people are playing, and maybe they stink or maybe they don't, but they are putting themselves out there to make their joyful noise in their own fashion, and we can cheer everybody
Absolutely.
on.
And we have the most amazing community here
We
in
certainly
West Palm
do.
Beach, and wherever people are listening, I'm sure there's communities around you.
Yep.
And
Street buskers,
Yeah,
you know, stop
yeah.
for the street busker. Amazing musicians and talent. It's just
And also
around the corner.
opportunities to, if you have a talent and you play the guitar or another instrument and you want to sing, go to an open mic.
Go to an open
There's
mic.
always an opportunity at an open mic for anyone to get up and sing, and lots of encouragement and community there to support you. I mean, we've all been in the same place.
Right.
So anybody who has, you know, a desire that they're not living out in their life, there are ways to do that easily with lots of support, and you'll find a wonderful group of people to connect with and to have as friends. I mean, to make music with.
Great.
Go for it.
Go for it. Thank you for being here, Thia Muilenburg. Again, where can we find your songs? And you'll also find Allegra Miles on these places, but your tunes. How can we find you?
Anywhere you get your music, like Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube Music. Spotify is probably the most popular one.
Great.
And I do have another song, Endless Journey, coming out on this month. And then a couple more after that. So it's going to just be really fun to have that music out there. And I really appreciate your listening. I have my music on my account. It's called Thia, Thia. So that's how you find me in those places.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we
really
will be
appreciate you listening.
singing around town together and having some fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Heather, for asking me to do this. I'm so grateful to you to be able to tell you about me and that you're interested in hearing about it. It's wonderful.
Well, you're very welcome.
Great to be able to share all that with you.
It is a joy. And this is what Lasting Conversations is all about, is sharing each other's joys and passions.
Yes.
All right.
It's
well,
great. It's a wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful thing. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Please be sure to like, follow, review, and share this podcast. Be part of the conversations by sending emails to podcast@lastingconversations.com and find us on Facebook at Lasting Conversations. We could also always use some sponsors to make sure this show continues and thrives and grows, and you can be part of this family, the Lasting Conversations family. So this is Lasting Conversations. We get to the heart of everything.